Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're tackling a subject that is absolutely fundamental to understanding the very nature of law, jurisprudence. It's all about the philosophy of law, asking the biggest questions about what law is, and maybe more importantly, what it should be.
Okay, so let's just dive right in by addressing the elephant in the room. For a lot of law students, jurisprudence can feel like a real chore. This abstract, tick-boxing exercise that seems totally disconnected from the actual, real-world practice of law.
But is that really a fair take? We're going to make the case that it's the exact opposite. Jurisprudence is really the engine that drives legal change. It's what forces us to question the very foundations of the rules that we all live by.
Now, part of the confusion around jurisprudence really just starts with the word itself. You see, it actually has two pretty distinct meanings, and that can trip people up.
So on the one hand, you might hear a lawyer talk about the jurisprudence of a court. All that means is it's a collection of past decisions, case law. But then, on the other hand, it refers to the philosophy of law itself, the big theoretical questions.
So, just to be super clear for the rest of this explainer, whenever we say jurisprudence, we mean that second definition, the philosophy of law. We're not looking at what the law says in any one specific case, but at the whole idea of law itself.
Okay, so this brings us right to the question that pretty much every law student asks. Why should I bother with this? I mean, with all the cases and statutes to memorize, what is the practical point of all this abstract philosophy? And this quote just nails that feeling perfectly. It frames the whole thing as this zero-sum game. Either you learn practical, real-world stuff, or you waste time on abstract theory. But that's a totally false choice.
The real answer is that jurisprudence gives us the tools to go way beyond just memorizing rules. It forces us to ask not just what is the law, but the much, much more powerful question, what should the law be?
And this idea leads us straight to the absolute core distinction in all of legal theory, the difference between studying law in a descriptive way versus a normative way.
Think about it like this. Most of law school is descriptive. You're learning the existing rules and figuring out how to apply them to a problem. Jurisprudence, on the other hand, is normative. It's where you ask the critical questions. Is this rule even just? Is it fair? Does it actually work? It's really all about challenging the law's very foundations.
And once you start asking these big normative questions, you're not just doing a classroom exercise. You're actually stepping into a massive debate that has been raging for centuries, a really fundamental disagreement about what law even is.
And this is not some modern debate, not at all. This conversation stretches all the way from ancient Greece through a huge turning point in the 18th century, and it continues to shape basically every legal system in the world today. So the two big opposing sides here are natural law and legal positivism. Natural law theory basically says that law and morality are deeply connected. An unjust law isn't really a true law at all. But legal positivism says, whoa, hold on, they're separate. A law is valid if it's made by the right authority through the right process, and that's true whether it's a moral law or not.
But of course, the conversation didn't just stop there. The incredible tension between these two foundational theories basically blew the doors wide open for a whole universe of different ways to think about and critique the law. This one debate spawned this huge range of modern theories. For instance, feminist jurisprudence looks at how laws, which were often written from a male point of view, actually affect women. Or you have critical race theory, which analyzes how our legal systems can end up perpetuating racial inequality, even with laws that sound totally neutral. Each of these theories gives us a unique lens to critique the law's real-world impact.
So, let's circle all the way back to our original question, why bother with it? Because jurisprudence is not just theory. It's the engine room of legal evolution. It is how we challenge, critique, and ultimately improve our laws. Without it, the law would just be static, totally unable to adapt to our changing world.
Which leaves us with the one fundamental question that really sits at the heart of this entire field. Is law some set of universal moral truths that we just discover, like in natural law theory? Or is it simply a tool that we humans create and that we can change whenever we want? That is the debate that continues to drive our legal world.